Welcome to episode 6 of the Monarch Metamorphosis podcast. I am Dr. Ryan Greene, co-founder and medical director of Monarch. And today I am privileged to be joined by Gabby Rooney, who is the co-founder of CUFT, an incredible product designed for women and underwear products. So this is a very interesting space for me to be because I know nothing about women's underwear. And the last 2 podcasts have been incredible female founders. So I'm honored to have you here and talk about why you're doing what you're doing and how it is going to change the world for women, especially who are trying to stay active. So thank you for being here. First and foremost, tell me about CUFT. Where did it come from? How did it come to be? And I would love to start there.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. CUFT is 100% tencel underwear, and I don't know if you know what tencel is.
I have no idea. Assume I know nothing.
Great.
What we discovered in the last 2 podcasts is there's a great divide where like men just assume that like if it works for men, it works for women, and that is clearly not true. So
no, that's not true.
Assume I know nothing, and assume most of the people listening, maybe half the people do, half the people don't.
Awesome. Well, I love to educate on this topic because CUFT actually was designed to improve female hygiene. And for that reason, we made 100% tencel underwear. So a lot of the underwear on the market is made from, synthetic fibers, cotton. You're going to hear a lot about cotton out there. What we wanted to do is we wanted to create something that had no blends, like free of toxins, free of chemicals. And so tencel is a fairly new fiber that actually was invented probably in the 1970s. I'm butchering the actual date, I think like 1972, but it's made from wood fibers, and it's actually like from trees. And there are certain trees like eucalyptus, some other sort of fibers, and the production process is actually a closed loop production. And so everything is like recycled, right? So it's really good for the environment, but it's also better for you, for the person that's wearing it, because it is breathable, it is free of microplastics, free of chemicals, free of any sort of like added toxins. And it's also extremely breathable. It's antibacterial, it's odor repellent. And for those people that are like working out a lot, it is quick drying. And so like cotton is an underwear that is really good to wear, right? Because it's organic and all natural, but it stays damp for longer periods of time. So it could potentially be a buildup of bacteria, which could lead to maybe infections or inflammation. And of course, like I'm, all the things that I'm going to say today, I'm not a doctor like you are, but like this is all from my research. And so we wanted to create something that was free of like all the toxins, and something that the woman who's wearing it could feel comfortable and free and light. And, also on top of it, one of our other missions is obviously the environmental piece.
Yeah.
And so the entire underwear is able to be composted. Like you can literally throw the underwear in the ground and it will compost over time.
How does it not break down then? I have 1,000 questions.
Yeah, good. Hit me.
So yeah. First and foremost, durability. Like if it's compostable, like full disclosure, I'm wearing underwear right now that I've had for probably 10 years.
Yeah, this is a problem. This is clearly
a problem. This is why we're here.
Right.
Durability. So like,
yes.
I understand, I have learned more as of late about apparently all these things that are seeping into our skin, especially around sensitive and private areas.
Right.
And I was thinking about it before we did this podcast, like I'm still wearing compression shorts that I stole from my college roommates like 15 years ago. And just like rinse and repeat. Like I have other compression shorts. They're not the only ones I wear.
Right. We're going to get into the nitty gritties today.
But like, durability. So like if they're compostable, how long do they last? Because if you're working out a lot, if you're sweating, if there's moisture, if there's heat, washing them, like I'm fine buying more product, especially if it's high quality, it's going to keep me healthy. And also it's not damaging to the environment. But like, what's the life cycle of a tencel underwear?
Right. it wears as a normal underwear. And so, for example, I'm wearing one that's a year old, but the whole, it is not as durable, I will tell you this, not as durable as an elastic or like a spandex. But the analysis of like wearing something that is synthetic and elastic that could potentially have harmful effects on my body is way better than, or is way less better than having something that is really good for my body, right? And so the actual tencel underwear is the same type of wear as you're gonna have like a cotton, right? And so you can wash it in the washing machine. You can put it on cold. You can air dry it. That'll make it last a lot longer, but it's not going to like compost on your body, right? That's the whole idea behind it, is that we spent like 2 years creating this product to ensure, and we tested out so many things. Like, you know, as you're building a product, you want to test it out as much as possible. And so myself, my family, we've all been guinea pigs. This underwear wears as a normal cotton. And the thing that I want to say about that, like you say, you're wearing compression shorts that you've had for 15 years, 100%. Right? I'm telling you, like, again, I'm not a doctor, but you got to change your underwear, right? Like, that's the thing that I'm trying to tell people.
That's a clip we're going to pull from this. That's just going to be the title. You got to change your underwear.
You got to change your underwear. But like, it's this like constant push and pull, because we're encouraging people to change their underwear, but we're also encouraging people to choose right. Because there's the craziest stat. The craziest stat that is something that I keep in the back of my mind as I build this company: 11 million pounds of underwear daily is thrown in a landfill in the US. 11 million.
Way.
And I guarantee you that 90% of that is unable to be composted or biodegraded. So it's simply just trash, right? Which is actually kind of disgusting.
11 million pounds a day.
Yes. It's very crazy. And so when I was very careful, and it took us a long time to start this for the reason of like, we wanted something to be that be helpful to the environment, but also helpful to the body. And so our product is, yes, it's very high quality, and yes, it may not last, and it will not last as long as an elastic underwear, but the benefits to the environment and to your body are so much greater. And like, the craziest thing on this kind of tangent of the landfill, the whole origination of CUFT was my mom's idea. She was on safari in Africa many years ago, and she brought disposable underwear with her on this like 2 to 3 week camping trip or whatever. And she wanted to dispose it at the end of the trip. She didn't have to put it in her suitcase and bring it back all dirty, all of that, when you travel, it's a mess. And so she ended up throwing it away, and the staff on site at the campsite said, "You cannot throw this away." And my mom said, "Well, this is disposable underwear." And they said, "Oh, in American terms, but not in our terms." And so she realized, oh my gosh, this disposable underwear, quote unquote, is not actually disposable. And why the heck isn't it disposable? And then also, what are those properties that have created this underwear that make it not good for the environment? Is it not good for my body? And so it begs the question of all these, toxins and chemicals in elastic that is going into the underwear. How can it affect me as well?
Interesting.
Right? So it is very interesting, and it goes like so much broader than just hygiene.
Yeah. So I've got 2 different areas that I want to touch on. So first, like hygiene.
Totally.
So when we say hygiene, when you guys say hygiene, what does that mean?
For me, it's simple. I live in LA, and everyone's trying to be better for you, right? Everyone's trying to drink better. Everyone's trying to eat better. Everyone's trying to wear better for you skin. Why not better for you underwear? And so, as simple as it is, we're just trying to be a little bit better than what is out there. And I think that we're providing something that improves hygiene. I'm not going to say that it's 100% going to clear your UTIs or your infections, because I don't know your body and I don't know what your intimates are going to respond to, but it is something that is at least bettering your hygiene.
And then so you're kind of peeling back, your mom, safari.
Yes.
Tried to throw away underwear. They said, thanks, but no thanks. Delta between that and when like you actually came out with CUFT, like what inspired you to do this? Were you, was it something that was, you were working out, you're just like, something doesn't feel right, or these things keep happening? Like, where did the link from mom to you to now product actually come in?
Great question, because it was a few years, honestly. I'm an entrepreneur, so I was building other businesses, and my mom came to me to this, and I said, I will, what is a compostable underwear, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. And it was a constant research and a constant talking to people and understanding what their problems, because when you build something, as you know, it's about solving a problem.
Sure.
And I saw a major problem with two things. It was the environmental impact, right? And I'm not some environmental like hurrah person. This is not like a priority for me when I first started this, but now it is, because like I realize how much we are throwing away. And so I became obsessed with trying to solve that problem. But then I also became obsessed with solving this hygiene effect that intimate apparel could potentially have on females. And I am a proponent for women, and I just want to make sure that women are feeling more confident and happy and comfortable in something as simple as an underwear, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to do better just at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like to go a step further, like our third pillar, obviously it's better for you, better for the consumer, better for the planet, and then better for the community. So every 3 pairs of underwear we sell, we donate 1 to women in need. And that was a huge thing for us.
It's like Bombas.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
Like socks and underwear are the biggest requested item at shelters. And it's wild to me, there's a lot of talk in the female community about having free access to just like tampons, right? And why don't we have that? Why don't we have free access to underwear? I don't know. And so maybe that's CUFT's mission, in 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're going to do and what we're going to provide. It's really amazing to see the response, like just recently with the LA fires, like being able to provide free underwear to women was so empowering for me. And if there's anything we can do, it's just at least educate women. And that's really educate women and making them feel a little bit more confident in their skin.
Yeah. So before I move on to just like getting this company started and being an incredible entrepreneur, what's next in terms of CUFT? Because I'll be honest, like, why not men? Why are men neglected again in this category?
I love how you're asking that, because actually at the discourse event that you guys hosted that we were at, men kept coming up and saying, well, what is this? Because that's the whole point of this is being a talking point. By the way, this is also compostable, so you can just throw it in the ground, but the underwear comes in here. Anyways, I kept having men coming up to me saying, I want this. Yeah. And so we have started the preliminary production like research into that, because like this is so new. Like the underwear is 100% tencel, no blends, nothing. And so why I'm bringing that up is that the actual structure of like a boxer or a brief and whatever kind of undergarments that men wear, it is a lot tougher to not blend anything.
Interesting.
And so potentially we could, it's in process. We definitely want to provide that for men, because I've had so many people reach out to me wanting it, especially when it comes to, the fitness community and, sweating and just having the ability to feel comfortable in a quick drying underwear.
If you could project, a couple decades in the future, like this product, this tencel product, where does it stop? Could we do scrubs?
Yes.
Bra, shirts? Like, what's the limit?
I love this question, because I feel like in 10 to 20 years, most things are going to have a blend of tencel in them, just because of the environmental process and this closed loop production process. Because, you see cotton, and cotton's fantastic. Cotton's great, but it uses a lot of water during its production. Yeah. And so it becomes like a cost thing and also environmental impact. But I think that there's going to be a lot of more companies coming out with tencel. And I'm really excited for it because I know that of the effects and the improvement for hygiene. And I think that shirts would be amazing. We're actually looking into, hopefully at the end of this year, don't quote me on this, but we'll have like little tank tops, like camisoles for women. It's really a production standpoint with our manufacturer for us to work with to create something that is fully tencel. So again, it might be something that we have to like kind of take a step back with 100% tencel and add something in. But, I want to stay true to our mission. But I think that in the next few decades, like, you're going to see tencel everywhere.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
When you guys were developing this, so I used to be an ambassador for Lululemon. And one of the things that, first of all, one of the things I enjoyed about their product, not to go off on a tangent, is, again, like, I'm still wearing the same stuff I got 7 years ago.
Totally.
Which is great. But some products that shall not be named versus Lululemon, like over time, especially with sweat, they smell, right?
Yes.
And then they're like, okay, we're putting silver, antibacterial lining in there because it prevents stink, whatever. Like, is that real? Is that just marketing language? And for you guys, like, is the tencel sufficient? Do you need to add things in moving down the road? Maybe you're like it's little threads of silver that are naturally, like, I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of cool. Like, my clothes are going to smell. And like, is that like, does that do anything? Or is like this tencel product replaced all that?
This is what I'll say. I don't know about the silver.
Yeah. It was a thing
fiber.
For a while. Yeah.
Odor is like a very big issue in durability with clothing. I'll say that our tencel is better than a cotton. It is better than a synthetic. I'm not going to say it's going to completely eliminate odors, but it is naturally odor repellent. And of course, it's going to respond differently to every single person. Yeah. I've used it many times and I've tested on it and I'm satisfied with what our product has done. But with like a legging, it's different because you're gonna have to blend it with something because of that stretchiness. Like tencel's it's not super stretchy.
Got it.
So I want there to be a solution. Yeah. And maybe like, I think the person who discovers that is going to be a genius and is going to be using maybe. I want something that can be, because a lot of women, like, I'm sure men have the same issue, but like when we work out, and this was one of the reasons why I created CUFT, is when we work out, we're wearing those tight leggings, right? And usually women don't wear underwear underneath that. Huh. But if they do, and so it's like frustrating because you're like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I'm self-conscious, whatever. The reason, well, for me at least, I'll speak on myself, the reason why I didn't, because I couldn't find anything underneath that was comfortable. CUFT is something that's comfortable. And so, and I have my customers reaching out to me saying how amazing it is. And when they do squats, they're like, this is great. Like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, that's great. And then with the odor piece, it's like, there's just another layer and it's naturally odor repellent. I'm not going to say it's going to completely eliminate odors, but it's there and it's working and it'll help. And so I don't know the Lululemon answer. I wish there was an answer. And I'm so curious to like try that silver. I'm gonna look this up after.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember like it's so interesting because especially in the US, like you're allowed to say so many things in terms of marketing, and then also
you can say whatever. It's crazy.
I mean, it's pretty loose, like total tangent, but I read like Corinthian leather, which was like very popular in cars for a while. Like that was just like some ad agency was like, Corinthian, like that sounds
no
fancy.
idea what that is.
Yeah, like we're gonna upcharge for Corinthian. It was like it's no different. So I appreciate groups, people, founders, products that are just like, this is what it is. We're not hiding behind anything. Same thing that we do here. Like we're not upselling.
Right.
Like we are very clear. We're not hiding anything behind like, paywalls. Like, what we're going to do. We're very straightforward. And like, I appreciate that you guys are doing that, which is like, this is what we are, this is what we are not, but this is why we're doing what we're doing, because it's helping humanity. It's helping the planet.
Right.
And hopefully changing the course of, product manufacturing moving forward. Right. Do you have any like big garment manufacturers that are trying to get into tencel now that like they're seeing like what you guys are doing and they're just like, oh, that's interesting. Like, Nike, Adidas, like.
I'm sure, I tend to focus on the smaller guys because those are my direct competitors, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be a missed opportunity if larger manufacturers did not go after something like tencel, because people want something. People that are buying like workout clothes, they want to make sure, obviously like style is very important, but they want to make sure that it's good, right? Sure. If you're going to spend $100 on a t-shirt or whatever it may be, you want to make sure that it's good quality. So totally. I think it would be a missed opportunity for them to not look into tencel. But you're seeing a lot of bamboo, which I don't know if you've been seeing that, but tencel's properties are very similar to bamboo. Yeah. But bamboo's production process, and this is why I think tencel's gonna win over the long run. Yeah. Bamboo is like, you can't even produce bamboo in most parts of the world because it is it emits toxins during the breakdown of the actual bamboo into fibers. Because we were gonna originally do bamboo, but bamboo's amazing for the body. Like it is like the same kind of tencel effect. But in terms of the big manufacturers, like, I don't know what they're doing. I look at my competitors and that's kind of where I want to focus on. Sure. Maybe I'll get there, but we work for we use a small local manufacturer who they're incredible, and he himself is an entrepreneur, and so he understands the process. And I like to work with other people who have been entrepreneurs themselves, if I can, right? Because I'm learning from him, and he's able to tell me about his mistakes and really help me from the ground up.
Amazing. Speaking of entrepreneurship, it is Women's History Month for female founders and small business owners.
Absolutely.
That's the most important part of this month. It is also my birthday month.
When's your birthday?
3/12/87.
It's coming up.
If anyone out there wants to send gifts,
I'll send you some CUFT.
Well, I'll try your first male pair.
Oh yeah,
I'm a briefs guy, not boxers.
Okay.
Tried boxers when I was in grade school, just didn't work, but that's a story for a different podcast. What's the hardest part? I mean, you've started other companies. Mm-hmm. What's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur today, especially in, the garment industry, LA, or just in general?
Great question. There's a lot of difficult things. Yeah. I think, and I'll speak to being a young female founder just because it's International Women's Day tomorrow. I think it's the credibility, and I think it's the legitimacy. For me, you're not taken, when I started my first company, I was not taken seriously at all. 25, had never been in the industry that I was operating in. And a lot of what you see out there is in like success and people are getting awards. It's people that are older, right? Yeah. And I think that there is obviously a lot of legitimacy to people who have been working in fields for like decades. Totally. And I love to learn from those people. But when it comes to like being a young female entrepreneur, you don't get the recognition, which is totally fine that I don't get the recognition as someone who's been in the industry for decades. But it's so difficult starting from ground zero and building something. I mean, it's terrifying and it's scary. And a lot of people are unable to commit because of the fear, right? Yeah. And so I think like if there's anything that I can say is like, even women who are not even founders, just women who are in business or just any woman who's doing something, which is probably 99.9% of women,
Yeah.
recognize them, support them, tell them they're doing a good job, because it's hard out there for sure. And I've been so grateful. I, have an incredible community, and now I have teams that are working for me. At first it was just me by myself, and that was hell.
Yeah.
But now it's like leaning on those people and taking every step toward something bigger and building on that is really important. And so, it's really hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. Being an entrepreneur sucks at times, but it's so rewarding. But like when you say, what is your dream job? I'm doing my dream job.
100%.
And I'm so freaking lucky for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you listen to Founders Podcast?
I've listened to a few episodes.
Shout out David Senra. He's amazing.
I love those kinds of podcasts.
I'm obsessed.
Yes.
Because first of all, starting something from nothing, which you and I both have experience in, extremely difficult. And you guys, I 100% agree, have it at least 2 times as hard.
Right.
And interestingly, my vantage point other than creating Monarch, but like when I was a physician in residency in med school, the female physicians, brilliant, but they're just like, oh, that's the nurse or that's the PA. And it's just one extra step, like you said, to legitimacy where they're like, no, I'm a medical student or I'm a doctor or whatever. I'm just like, you have to have thick skin. You have to have sharp teeth, and you got to be able to advocate for yourself. But you've clearly been successful, so I have no doubt that you will not continue to be successcul.
Thank you.
But founders got to stick together because
we do. We have to help each other.
People don't understand. As you were talking about it, I was thinking, I'm like, man, if I ever want to do something different at some point, do I want to start from square one again? I was like, I don't know.
You would though.
I would.
You would.
I'd answer the call.
Because I said the same thing, and then when my mom approached me with this, because my other business is in the beverage world, and that's another animal. But I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. And then I started researching.
You get addicted to it.
And you get addicted, and you want to solve problems, right? Yeah. Being an entrepreneur, it's ingrained in you. Yeah. It's not something that you could learn, right? So when people approach me, I have this idea, great, do it.
Yeah.
You can only learn by doing. That's the only way. You can only do so many financial models. It's all hypothetical.
Yeah, and
you gotta just do it.
If you could find yourself into a world where you'd say, I would do this and not get paid for the rest of my life, you are fortunate that you have found your way into something that you are truly passionate about. And I'm grateful that you've done that because you're clearly changing the future of health and wellness for women and hopefully men if you feel magnanimous to extend your work towards us. Final thought.
Yes.
2-parter.
Okay.
Biggest win you've had for CUFT, the moment you just were sitting it by yourself and you're like, and you can swear by the way, you could be like, fuck yes. That was amazing. Second part, we're all going to move on at some point. If you could look back at your life and say, I want people to remember me because, what would that be? So let's first start with CUFT and then let's go bigger picture.
The biggest win was honestly this week. It was
being here. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's right now. No, this has been amazing. But all I do, as I said before, I'm trying to solve problems. I'm trying to help my customer. That's all I care about. This week, I received a message from one of my customers, and she said something along the lines of, this is the best underwear I've ever had. I work out, and I've been trying, exactly what I was explaining earlier. I've been trying to find an underwear that helps me, that is good for when I'm working out. And I've tried, I'm not going to name my biggest competitors, but she named them. Yeah. And she said, this is so much better than X, Y, and Z.
Amazing.
And then I emailed her back and I said this, it truly brought me to tears. Texted my mom, texted my sister who's in this room right now and who's part of the team. And I said, this is why we are doing this,
That's awesome.
And I emailed her and I was like, I just want to make sure this is real. And she's like, yes, I'm real. I'm so grateful. I can't wait to spread the word. I want to get this into as many hands as possible. And I'm like, me too. Yeah. So those little things are what makes my day and what makes my year. And it makes it all worth it, right? And then the second part of the piece, what
do you want people to remember you for? Like if you could look back and your sister who's saying,
yes.
This was Gabby. What is that?
I am always trying to, and Olivia speaks to this a lot, my sister. I'm always, and so does my mom. I'm always trying to think of the glass half full. I'm always trying to solve a problem for the better, right? And I want people to know me as someone who's trying to do good, right?
Amazing.
I'm passionate and I'm excited and I love life.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for solving problems that, to be honest, I had no idea were problems, but we need people like you to tackle those things. Because if we were left to my own devices, it would never get done.
Hey, so, you're doing great.
But I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being an incredible entrepreneur, multiple-time founder. Thank you for inspiring women, leading women, and making their lives better. It's an honor to have you. It's great to call, our home where we're living the same town. Side note, just for the record, and just for everyone in here, we walked by each other on the street in front of Alfalfa one day. You didn't say hello.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
I know. She big timed me.
What?
I know.
I would say hi.
No hi.
Okay, well next time I'll say hi.
Next time.
And I'll give you a coffee.
No, we'll go do a breakfast burrito.
Okay, a breakfast. Oh, the Alfalfa's breakfast burrito.
Yeah. But just for the record,
Way to drop that at the end of the podcast.
I like to sneak it in. It's all good. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.